The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Welcome to your Health and Wellness Hour, sponsored by Luminosity Wellness Center here in Las Vegas, coming to you from the studios of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting. Our goal is to incite and ignite all your senses and curiosities. So sit back, relax, open your mind and your heart, and enjoy the show.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the Luminosity Health and Wellness Hour. And today I have invited Mary Lisa Burls, and we have invited some artists to come in today because we wanted to introduce art and find out what it can do for our health, because we all today have to take our own health into our own account. So in order for us to do that, we want to look at it a little bit. And I am a past life regressionist here at Luminosity. And Mary Lisa was one of my very first clients that I had. And I remember when in my regressions, we always connect to the higher self. And I remember distinctly her higher self telling her, Mary Lisa, you need to let go of your artwork. And you need to get it out there because people need to see it. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So when I finally saw that her artwork was actually out there, I wanted to bring her on the show today so we can get her artwork out there and let people know what her artwork could do for you. So let me just take a few minutes. And Mary Lisa, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. I was born in Brazil, and I came to the United States when I was 12 years old. I've always, when I was 9, I decided that I wanted to hypnotize my sister.
Oh.
And I ended up burning a hole in the mattress because I was trying to get dark.
Uh-huh.
That didn't go too well, but it's been energy and spirituality has been a part of my life so forever.
Right.
And this just, with the art, it's each of the art that I do fused glass.
Mm-hmm.
And the fused glass, I'm a channeler, like we all are, for energy. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't have a corner in the market, and it's...
So can we all channel?
Oh, all you have to do is center yourself, and then go in a meditative state, mm-hmm. and then just let the energy flow.
And so is that where you get a lot of your ideas for your artwork?
Yeah.
Yes, through your channeling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm an ordained hands-on healing minister.
Very nice.
And I also, what I do when I'm doing a piece is just that I channel energy in there. It's not mine. I'm just the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And the pieces are protective. They are, the colors themselves, they vibrate at different tonalities, and also it brings what you're needing into your life too.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, it just,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I do.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was so amazing when your higher self came through and said you need to share your artwork, because anybody who is in contact with it or just views it is going to receive those gifts, whatever
right.
that is.
That's
inside
right.
of the artwork.
That's right.
So,
And like I was telling you prior to the show, I don't name my pieces,
mm-hmm.
because I just put a letter and a number. Whoever receives it, it's supposed to, they will figure it out what it means to them. And in some of them are very soothing. Others are more excitable.
Right.
And they bring, they just bring different things to different people. Yeah.
Well, it's like, looking at this piece right here,
Mm-hmm.
the colors that are in that, for somebody, those to me are very soothing colors. But for somebody else, they might bring more of the energy, the excitement, and might remind them of some party they went out on or something. So
Yeah, and the purple itself, it's the crown chakra. So it's a piece that you can meditate and sit on it and open up the mind to whatever it is that you need to receive.
Okay, and let me ask you about the chakras really quick, because I don't think that we've discussed it on the show that I've done so far. So what are the chakras, and what are they used for?
The chakras really is in the electrical meridian that we have. We have hundreds of meridians, but working with the chakra, as a matter of fact, is the chakras need to be, each of the chakras have a different purpose, a different organ associated with it. The crown chakra is, let's start from the bottom. The bottom is your root chakra, and the root is how you,
like roots in the ground. I mean, it's
and
like
also
there.
your finances and all those other things. That's in the root chakra. Then comes the sacral, which is the reproductive. This is also family. It's emotions too. Then comes the yellow chakra, which is the feeling, solar plexus, right?
Yeah.
It's the feeling one. And then comes the heart chakra. But see, between the heart chakra and the throat chakra, there is another one. I mean, there is the tips of our fingers. We have chakras, you know, but this is the
main one.
The main ones, and basically they regulate or they assist all the other ones. The third eye is also with the pineal, but this is more pituitary, and the pineal is the crown chakra for me.
Yeah.
And it's all of them have a different meaning, and
right.
that's
and so when you do your artwork, each piece might affect a different one of those chakras and vibrate at a different rate
and it helps balance
right
the chakras also.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so what else can it do? What else can the artwork do for healing?
It's meditative.
Okay.
It helps.
If someone were going to use it meditatively, what would they do with it? Just look at it?
The object, they would go into meditative state and visualize, if they don't want to keep their eyes open, see the piece in the third eye and bring it in and put it into the master cell, the pineal.
Okay. Very good.
And from that, it spreads through the whole body. Whatever it is that they're needing balancing in.
Yeah. And you know what, when I look at your artwork here, what it reminds me of is, when we were kids, it takes me back to when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I used to lay in the park and, you watch the clouds and the different shapes and the forms in the clouds. So when I see your artwork, that's what it reminds me of, and it takes me back there because, like you were saying earlier, everybody sees something different. So,
invariably, what is amazing, there are faces, there are animals. I did one that as soon as I finished, my friend Karen turned around and says, "Oh my God, that's a fairy garden." And I says, "It is. Let me look at it. Because I had no idea. And you go, since I'm using alcohol inks, you can't manipulate it as
easily.
And what you have to do is just put it there and then either put the mixer or the solution, or I do alcohol. I put alcohol and then it starts going and doing things, and it's not this frenetic painting. It's
right.
You just sit there, and as I'm doing whatever it is that's supposed to comes up in the painting.
It's got to be really therapeutic for you to be sitting there watching it come to life as you put the paints together, and
Yeah, and painting is a form of meditation also.
Yeah. Oh, and that's really great. Yeah, because a lot of people probably don't even know that,
Yeah, and I mean, there are hundreds of ways of meditating. And to me, meditating is assisting me and quiet the monkey mind.
Yeah.
That it's all but when I'm able to go deep enough and just sit there, that's when the benefits come.
Yeah. Right.
You might not be aware of what you're receiving. There are people that just get ideas, hear voices, whatever it is that it is, and we're not psychotic or anything else. It's just
oh no, come on.
It's our inner mind, it's our higher mind communicating. So it's really good way, we're made.
Right. So when you decide to do artwork, do you sit down and decide what colors you're going to use, or how do you actually make this? What's your process? You just decide one morning you wake up, or do you kind of have a routine?
No, I just sit down in front of a tile.
Yeah,
and just start picking the colors that I feel needs to be picked.
Okay. And then, do you have some? These are all pretty small. Is this pretty much all of your designs?
I'm only doing the 6x6. I did 4x4 also, but I can't really express myself in a 4x4.
Yeah.
6x6 gives me.
You need a little bit bigger.
Yeah. And the thing is that tile is heavy.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put it really bad, you're going to have to put all kinds of anchors in the wall.
To hold
These
it.
you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. These we have a backing, and then they can just hang on the little hook. So it's. But and then I did some with shadow boxes, but it perturbs me with the glass in front because it distorts.
Mm-hmm.
So
can't you create the shadow box without the glass? Just not put it in there?
That's an idea.
Yeah, because then they get to see the true art, and then they're not taking
But the shadow boxes that I have to have the glass, or else you can't keep it together.
Mm.
So, but it's an idea. I'll look shadow boxes without glass.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Then it's. I've been an energy worker, aware that I was an energy worker since I was about 12 years old.
Wow.
And I'm 70.
Wow, you look great for 70.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. But it's been like a long... I was blessed that I was born, or that I chose to incarnate in a really open family.
Yeah.
As far as spiritual type things, it nothing was. We could go and ask, and my grandmother gave readings. We had clients coming in, and we're asking, what is she doing? And lo and behold, I found that I can do that too. And the cards just tell me stories. That's what it does. It doesn't do. I can't tell you what each card means. I look at the cards and they start
talking to you, or giving you
and it's applicable. Most of the time, it's applicable.
So, do you read for other people?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. I did Psychic Friends Network for years, and then I did Keen, and then I kind of pushed myself out a little bit because I started seeing people disincarnating, and I got really upset, and I got upset at God.
Really? Wow.
Because I says I said that wasn't my prerogative to see.
Right.
I didn't want to see that. So kind of I took a hiatus of about 15 years. Then I started back last year again.
And so what prompted you to start back? So what was the trigger there?
All of a sudden I had friends telling me, and then old clients start calling me out of the blue that I didn't expect.
Oh, wow.
So
So you were getting
the universe,
messages from the universe telling you that it was
absolutely,
time to
absolutely
start doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is this your only kind of art you do? Do you do other art?
Oh, I paint acrylic. I use acrylic. Oils I don't like. I do watercolors. I do the fused glass. Whatever I get, and then I'm starting this thing just now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with this type of medium. So that's the art, and the energy goes with the art. I receive the energy,
And
I
it's
feel
already-
the energy, and somehow it's transmitted into
Yeah.
the art.
So one thing I want to mention to our audience is when we did Mary Lisa's past life regression, and in the past life regression we connected the higher self, and her higher self told her that her purpose on this planet is to just radiate and to sell her art, which she didn't want to sell. But they told her actually that she could just be driving down the street and just being at the light, the energy that she puts out will affect the people that are sitting there at the light with her.
And it's really interesting. Every house that I move in, people come to the house and they will when they're leaving, or they're saying, there's just so much peace here. And a lot of times I'm Latin, I'm loud, but they say there's a lot of peace here. But I finally figured out, I have a friend who spins energy, and there's always a funnel in my house, a vortex in my house.
Oh, wow.
And I guess people come in, dump, but they take it with them because it doesn't, and they feel really, really lightened and
Cool. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, do you notice the energy now different than the energy when you really were younger, much younger? And, like today, I mean, I think that there's so many people waking up right now and so many people that are seekers and looking. But back in your day, I don't think that there were that many people doing the psychic work or the channeling and stuff.
And
So-
we were, when we connected. It was a very lonely type of, with the gifts, and we all have gifts. I don't have, again, the corner in the market. The
Right.
more you use it, the more you get. But it was funny because people started, I connected to a lot of them through the internet. We used to go, like in the early 90s, to chat rooms, and that's where we started connecting here in the United States. In Brazil, I don't know if it was because of my grandmother, and every time I go back, there's a different modality, a different thing that I'm called to go and do and see. It's for a while, I mean, I'm a medium also. That means I receive and I allow a spirit to speak through me, like a little bit like Ghost.
Yeah.
You know, that movie, I really cracked up because I said, yeah, I see it. I know.
Yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I know what that's like.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is all part of the journey. But this is also what I told you, that I feel that the ones that are beginning to wake up and are younger, they don't have to take as long as I did.
Oh, yeah.
They
I'm
are,
sure.
it's like I am seeing somebody blossom and I'm going, way to
yeah.
go, pass me, go on and come and teach me,
Right.
because I think that is really what we're here to do. We're to assist
Right.
each other, especially
Right.
at this time when the energy is truly ramped up.
Right. Well, and it's ramping up pretty nicely now, I think, because even here at the Luminosity Center, I've been helping out, getting things rolling here, and I see more and more people coming in every day asking, because we, as human beings, have to take our own health care into our own hands.
Absolutely.
And it amazes me. We're in the like there's a hospital right nearby, so we're in the medical area. So people just leave their doctors and they see our wellness center and they come in and they're like, wow, I just saw a wellness center and I needed to stop in and see what you guys have here. I'm sure that didn't happen back in your day, where people were...
Oh, no.
Yeah, so now
No.
people are taking their own health care in their own hands and making things happen, because after you've gone to the doctor for 5 years trying to figure out why you have this pain in your side and you can't figure it out, or why you're so sluggish, or you have so much stress and we can't figure it out. Our medical, and I'm not saying anything bad about the medical industry, but what's the first thing your doctors do? Typically, they write you a prescription.
Absolutely. And they're poisoning you.
Yeah, and they're poisoning
really
it.
are.
So I think people are just fed up with that kind of care. So they're always searching for new things. And so here at the Luminosity Wellness Center, we have several practitioners who do several different things. And not one thing is going to be the right thing for everybody. I think everybody has to find their own thing that works for them, their own modality. But it's really nice to have a place where you can actually go to and experience some of those different modalities.
Absolutely.
Because back in your day, what did you do?
No,
I mean, how did
we
people
were very...
under the table and
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
thing? Very secretive.
I remember watching What the Bleep, do you know, with a friend of mine, Karen, the same one that got me started in the alcohol inks. And we were sitting there and saying, oh my God, they're finally validating
Everything
what
you've done.
we've done, what we talked about with quantum physics, and it was just, now it's becoming out there. It's not the woo-woo. It's now we're based by scientific data.
You're right.
And it's really interesting because I got my degree in sciences in college. And I remember my husband asking, but how can you believe about this other stuff? You're a scientist. I said, because this other stuff is.
Yeah. Well, it all connects. But
Absolutely.
But it's just now getting to where we are making a lot of those connections, where before it used to be totally separate, and people couldn't understand, how you could mix it like your husband, But now today, I mean, there is a lot of scientific evidence behind a lot of what's happening out there.
And I think people are getting, as you mentioned, really tired of not getting results. They're following all the rules, following all the prescription, what the doctors tell you, and they're not getting better.
Right.
And this is alternate modalities. It will work, if you pursue it and try to find, you come across the practitioner that will be there to help you.
Yeah.
And then until you're well enough or aware enough that you take the reins into your own hands and work with the God within.
Yeah. And that is so important, that God within. I know in my circle of friends and people I know, I get asked a lot, do you believe in God? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do. Because when they hear that you do this kind of work, a lot of times, because of the dogma of religion, they associate it with devil's work.
Absolutely.
So that happens a lot. I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
So.
but it's still, people are opening up.
They are.
More and more and more. And I really, my grandkids think that I'm totally out there, because I've always been out there. But it's, the thing is that, eventually they'll get it.
Yeah.
The seeds are, all of us have the beginnings, the inside, and God is all around us. God created all,
Yeah.
Even this, the microphone,
Right.
it's there.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm always kind of the last one to get things. And so I figure, well, if I'm on this journey myself, this spiritual journey, well, there's a lot of people that are right behind me or right with me or ahead of me, because I always seem to be not one of the first that gets it, you know what I mean? But there always is that little stigma of, what are my friends going to think? What's my family going to think? We have that fear built inside of us, and we don't
get to the point that you let it all hang
Yeah.
out there, and
Yeah.
what matters is you.
Yeah. Well,
You can't convince anybody.
You can. And that's bringing up another point, and I love that you said that, because our belief, there's 7 billion people on this planet. There's going to be 7 billion belief systems and different things. Everybody has to find their own truth and what works for them.
Right.
So if you believe one way, the last thing that we want to do is throw your belief on somebody else.
Absolutely.
So we need to learn tolerance and love and patience, and those are huge to me, that we are doing that in today's day and age, is making sure that we allow people to be who they are, and they'll wake up in their own time when it's right. You drop little seeds.
Yeah, and I believe more and more and more, we're not sheeple anymore.
No,
We're beginning to own our own power.
Yeah.
And follow through and find what is that works for us and follow our truth.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, and I think more and more people are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to mention this because I did tell my husband, and babe, if I get too far out there, just let me know. Because sometimes, I do worry about that. I'm like, oh, am I going to be divorced at the end of the year? Because, all of this stuff I'm learning, and it's just so amazing that people like you come along and enter into my world, because then I get to ask all kinds of questions and, find different things. And I love coming here to Luminosity Wellness Center because there's so many practitioners here that have so many great stories. And I love the stories. I love to find out how people got on their journey and how they're waking up and, what it's done for them.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people there. So hopefully a lot of our, listeners, viewers will find their way to Luminosity Wellness Center, because we have a lot to offer here. So.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. I do want to ask you one more piece. You said that you were making jewelry, too, and I don't mean to change the subject. Are you making jewelry, or?
Yeah, and I use semi-precious stones.
Okay.
And this was to give me clarity and be able to express myself. So I came armed, Yeah, I do. Each of the stones vibrate at a different level. All chakras have semi-precious stones associated with it. They do. I mean, I've had friends that were having problems communicating. They would just shut down. I did lapis lazulis, a little necklace. And it was about a month later she came and she says, that it just is what the stones do.
Right.
It's part of God too.
Right.
God's creation. I mean, God is all.
Well, and I know that there's so many different stones and crystals out there that have energy in them.
All of them do.
Yeah, and exactly. So even the ones you find on the ground, have some, energy in them, but.
And it really, I mean, one of the things, and this I'm just been getting it past year, that once you wash, if you have like loose stones, wash them. You can put them in water, and whatever the properties of that rock is, your stone is clean, take the stone out, drink the water.
And you get the energy from that
Absolutely.
stone, the properties of it in your
Absolutely.
body. Wow. I've heard that with crystal, because of Dr. Emoto's work with water. I love that, when you talk to the water, and so you put the crystals in the water and then you say things, that water will energize us. And like you said, those properties, everything goes
Absolutely.
into us and will change us. And for those who are not familiar with Dr. Emoto's work, he did some studies where he just talked to water, and he would say, I love you in one jar, and then say, I hate you in another jar, and the properties in the water.
It would be how the water molecules formed.
Yeah.
That was what the bleep do we know too.
Yeah, it was in there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And when they had on that subway, and I mean, and really, when you look for stressed water, poor water, all like this, the crystals.
Yeah.
But the ones that had love and had kindness, gratitude, they just
prospered, and it's like the crystals were just beautiful.
Right.
And so because of that, and I love the study because we're made up of like 78% water, and so it's just amazing how when we talk to ourselves like that, things like I hate you, which, we get caught up in that self-hate sometimes when we should be self-love, because if we talk to our bodies with loving words and kindness, then we're going to create this very beautiful body. But when we talk to ourselves with those words of hate and don't like ourselves, then we also create too, because we
Absolutely.
are amazing creators.
That's
Yes.
The old adage, be careful what you say, be careful what you think, or you'll, I mean, we always have thoughts that come into our minds that it's just, or you say something. For a while, years ago, I would say, cancel.
Yeah.
I cancel that. People, I mean, my friends would just crack up because one of us was always saying, cancel, I don't want that.
Don't want to say that.
Yeah. But it is words, it's vibration, everything is vibration.
Yeah.
Even the water is transmission, vibration. Colors, vibration. It's all vibrating.
And so what can someone do if they find themselves having that negative self-talk? What kind of recommendations would you, so that it'll change their vibration? How would someone change their vibration?
When they're going into that negative, what I call negative or dark space, one of the tendencies that we have is when we get there, we want just turn around and run. But we're carrying that. The best thing for me to do, is I'm beginning to learn to sit on it. And just kind of say, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is giving rise? Then you start peeling the onion.
Right.
You might start with platitudes. Yeah, I don't feel good, or somebody did this, somebody did that. And that's when we have to turn the mirror to our face and be courageous enough to sit down and have talks with ourselves.
Right.
And accept and not have, don't be critical. It's just where we are at that point in time.
Yeah. But I know we all get caught up in that. We're all human, and we have
Absolutely.
those traits that we're going to do that. So
yeah, I mean, you're driving. I do the Ho'oponopono prayer all the time.
Right. And what is that? Can you tell us? Because I love that prayer too.
There's different variations how they put the sentences, but the way I do it is, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm a maniac driver because I have a heavy foot. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. And but somebody cuts me, and I can just start, and then I'll do the Ho'oponopono prayer, and then I say, and it changes it. It's like a switch goes on.
Uh-huh.
And then I look and I said, why am I getting upset? Because
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Right.
I've cut somebody, and then it changes. It changes. It lightens.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Well,
there beating myself up. Why? I lost it. I'm supposed to be
Right.
spiritual.
Right.
What's with that?
But just understanding it and being aware of it
Yeah.
is what we're supposed to do, to
Yeah.
just know, because the next time an opportunity happens that you might find yourself getting that way, then you'll think about it again. So each time it'll get less and less,
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Well, is there anything else you would like to tell us before we leave our show today? I do
You-
want to find out how we can get a hold of your stuff.
Okay, but you wanted to ask about
your past life.
Okay.
Are you willing to talk about
I
your past
am
life?
willing,
And-
even though
okay.
I do not remember
A lot of it.
a lot of it. We'll see what is there that.
Okay. Well, let's see. We talked about, you were a part of a council. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
So what do you remember about being a part of that council? I thought that was really interesting. So
I can't remember a lot of it.
okay.
I remember a vision that I had standing in front of the council.
Yeah.
And the council kept on saying, come on in. And I'm sitting with, I'm standing by the door and say, oh, not me. You
Yeah.
guys are so high up there. And it's this kind of the invisible, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
All the stuff in the vision. I
Right.
could exactly see, and they says, no, take your seat. This is your
Yeah.
council. And when I did that internet, we used to go Sundays. We had a temple, and we had services, and that's where I learned to meditate with my eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would go, some of us would go to a chat room, and we would do amazing things.
Wow.
We did astral travel together. Lynn Taggart?
I've heard the name. So
Okay, I participated in her experiment, and then she ended up writing the book, which was really interesting. How distance doesn't matter. We were concentrating on a glass of water, and just concentrating and saying that we're going to change the structure of the water. Change to
Okay.
what? We just said, okay, we're going to change the structure of the water. And just stare on that thing for 15 minutes. Stare, just say, you're going to change the structure of water. There was a scientist in Russia measuring. The water was actually in Russia. They were filming, and he's doing tests. And it actually modified it.
wow, really.
So,
from
and
where
we
you
were
were
from
here.
all over. We were,
Wow.
and we were all doing through the internet.
Oh wow.
The glass of water was a picture in the monitor.
And so, do they have scientific studies on that
They do.
particular thing?
Yeah,
wow,
they
that
did.
secret study. Wow. amazing.
Yeah, and that's, what was that? That was probably about, I don't know, I'm really bad, about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm going to point out what your higher self told you about being a part of that council, because I thought that was really interesting.
Okay.
So when we connected to your higher self told us that you were in fact part of that council, and that you don't think you are.
Again.
You don't remember, because what happens when we come here? We have the veil put over us,
Right.
so we forget our greatness, and we forget how great we are. So that's why I love the past life regressions, because we're able to connect with your higher self, and you get those answers and find out that what a great being you really are. Another question that you had brought to me when we did your session was, I have those moments where I keep, go in the other room to get my car keys, and I forget what I'm doing. And I don't know if you remember the answer to that, but I thought that was really great too.
Don't remember.
Because in our bodies, we only come here to this earth plane with a percentage of who we are. We can't bring all of our energy in here.
Right. It's very dense.
Yeah.
Right.
So you happen to leave your body a lot and go to other realms and help. Now, we just blink out for a second in this life, but it could be like eons in another life. But you do that a lot. So you're always leaving here. And so when you have that blank feeling like, why did I come in here? That's what's happening. That's what your higher self.
That's really interesting. I read an article yesterday that are more and more people are experiencing that, but it's because the veils are thinning.
Very thin.
Thinning, and we are in different timelines.
Yes.
We're not just here.
No.
You know, we're this humongous being. And now it's like the timelines are melding, merging, and then they go apart again.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, but it's not just that I do.
No.
All of us are going to be doing it.
Yeah, we all do it. So every time I blink out and I do that, I always think about your session because I think, okay, where'd I just go? You know, what I just do, you know?
Yeah.
Because we all do that when we blink out and forget. We're like,
And yesterday it was appropriate because I was getting very confused. I was doing something and I thought it was doing something. And then I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what is going on?
Because you're blinking out, going somewhere else. You forgot all about that, didn't you?
Yeah, the blinks.
Yeah.
The blinks, the blink. Yeah, it was, but I think more and more of us are going to experience that.
Yeah.
Because it's ascension time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's time for us to come fully into our power.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask one more, if you see if you remember this one, because you were talking about going under the ocean to a world under the ocean. And I said, well, is this on a different planet? And your higher self said, no, that's here on this planet. And I said, well, was this at another time? And they said, no, it's now. So that's probably one of those places you're blinking out to.
This vision was incredible. I saw, it was like a crystal. I mean, it was that shiny, that light, under the ocean.
Yeah.
And there was like a bubble around it, but there you could walk. You were not swimming. You were walking, and you could you get to this barrier. You just walk, and you're there. You're not getting wet. You're not.
Yeah.
And that was such a city of light. And I remember that vision. I was in awe. It was just, to me, it was, I transcended. It was so beautiful, such a feeling of peace and love. And I wasn't seeing people. I knew there were people all around, but I was just in awe that there was that thing over there.
Yeah. It's amazing. So I loved, and Mary Lisa was my very first past life regression that I did. So believe me, I was kind of blown away when she went to all these other planets and these different worlds. And I'm like, wow, it really expands your mind when you start, taking somebody through those journeys. So, of course I did a lot of reading after your session because I wanted to know what was going on. I wish I could have jumped in your head because I love just visualizing what you see. So it was great. So,
yeah.
Anyway, it was great talking with you today, but I do want to make sure that our viewers know how to get hold of your artwork. So do you have a website or a way to get a hold of you?
I am on Facebook.
Facebook?
It's under Mary Lisa DeBarros. And under my personal, then there is Healing Arts Ministry, Inc.
Okay.
And that side is where I have the art.
Okay. And that's what I noticed on Facebook. And that's why when I contacted you, I noticed you had already you started putting your artwork out and had it in the ministry. And I thought, oh, good. I'm so excited that she finally got it out there, because I remember you just not wanting to part with it.
No, they're my babies.
Yeah.
And they're piled. I figured that when I cross over, my kids are going to have a fun time. What we're going to do with all of this.
Well, they'll probably make some money for it after. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Was there anything else you want to tell our viewers before we leave?
I think that we all need to use our creative side.
Yes.
Because that's a way to connect.
Yeah.
Have fun doing it too.
Oh, could you imagine what the world would be like if we all were doing what we love to do? If everybody,
absolutely,
there wouldn't be so much anger in the world and so much
there wouldn't
hate
be anger.
Because we'd all be so happy in bliss. And I was telling you earlier, I was getting downloads because I do a lot of artwork and different things too, and it's like for a whole week, I'd wake up at 3:00 in the morning and I have to get down and write these ideas down because I just kept getting them. And finally I had to ask, please shut it off, because I needed to get some sleep, So I'm really impressed that you actually took your artwork and put it out there and people can see it. So we all need to do that. So it's very beautiful. And hopefully, everybody's going to go look Mary Lisa up. John will have it in our bottom of our website and Facebook too. And then, we appreciate you coming today. And it was very nice talking with you. And thank our listeners for being here. And namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.